So I'm back to it, and I'm finally going to get the bodywork repairs done on the Audi and then give it a good polish all round. I've got the little panel beating kit ready. Fingers crossed that don't fall apart because it doesn't look too great. I'm going to start on this rear arch, take that out with the panel beating kit so it doesn't take too much filler, and then I can sand it all down, get it primed and painted. Yeah, hopefully it looks pretty nice. Obviously it's a 20-year-old car, but I spent so much time, put so much effort into it. It's got a few dents and it does let the car down, so I'm going to do my best to try and blend in this bit of the arch. Yeah, and just make it look a bit nicer, why not? Also got that trim to do on the back there. That's going to get filled, sanded, filled and painted, and then I've got the front bumper, and then this bit on the back. Unfortunately it does come onto the bodywork there, so I might just have to try and blend a little bit of a corner, but yeah, I'll do my best. Let's get it done, put it on a time lapse, get this wheel off, get the arch liner off, start prepping this corner. So that's the arch liner off, and I've got the panel beating kit out. I'll have to show you this now. Here it is. Amazon jobby, about 30 quid. And I'm not going to lie, those ends do feel a little bit ropey. I don't think it's going to last 2 minutes, to be honest. And I have just noticed now the arch liner's off that this bit of the bodywork here, I think is actually like double layered, so you can't actually completely see the dent from the other side, but I'm going to give it a go anyway, see if I can knock some of that dent out. Yeah, and then I'll just start stripping the paint off. I've got some sanding wheels to go on my Makita grinder, these here. Hopefully that strips all the paint off nicely. Take it down to the bare metal, I think, because we have got rust there, so I want to take all that down to the bare metal just so that filler has got a nice key, and then yeah, get it primed. So I'll put it back on the time lapse, see what we can do with this. So as you probably saw from the last clip, I started to take that dent out with the tool I got off Amazon, and straight away, bang, tool snapped straight in half. As I thought, it was absolutely rubbish. It was only cheap, it was about 20-30 quid, and it did feel tacky, to be fair, and yeah, straight away it failed. So also, obviously, because there's 2 layers of metal there on the arch, it was just bouncing off anyway, so it's quite hard to try and take any of the dent out. It did get a little bit out, but obviously it just means I'm going to have to put a little bit more filler on there, which is what I was trying to avoid, but it's not that much. I think I can fill it and get that shape back on the arch, try and blend that in nicely. But anyway, that's a different kind of filler, so I can crack on with that bit. The other bits are plastic because they're on the bumpers, etc., and the trim, so that's a different type of filler, so I can get this one all filled and start sanding that ready. Yeah, and then move on to the rest of them. The wheels I was using, I'll put a link in the description because I've never used those before to strip paint, and they are pretty decent. They go on the end of the grinder, I think they're 4.5 inch. It's absolutely perfect for stripping the paint back to the metal, so I'd highly recommend those. And you probably noticed that I didn't have a mask or goggles on, which I don't encourage. I should have worn a mask, but I did do a little test patch and there wasn't dust going everywhere and there wasn't bits flying off, plus I was stood back and I'm at only open air, so I wasn't breathing it in. When I come to paint, I will be putting a mask on because I don't want to be breathing that paint in and getting that on my lungs. But anyway, I'm going to crack on with the rest of it. I know, mate. So it's been about a week now since I was filming when I started to fill this arch, and apologies, I haven't had time to get on it. I've had other things to do, like Oscar's birthday, and also the weather has been rubbish, but yeah, I'm back on it now. I have been filling it in the meantime, just as and when I had time. You're probably not going to be seeing this for another week or so, probably a couple of weeks since I posted the last video, but I'll give you an update. So started filling that one on the last video. That's all now finished. Got that nice shape back there, got that repair done on the back there, all onto the door, that bit of rust there, so that's all going to be painted up onto the arch. Those trims have been removed. I've actually managed to tap the swelled up steel that was inside that was pushing the trims out, so I'm probably going to paint those and put those back on, maybe, because the wider ones I was going to get have actually sold. They were second hand off somebody and they're gone, and I can't find any others that are a reasonable price, so I might as well just use the old ones that was on there. And then I'll take you to the front. I've got that repair that I've done on the bumper. That's all ready to paint. I've actually made a decision to not buy the honeycomb ones because I'm not sure if it would suit the car, and I've just gone ahead and painted the trims and the badge that was on there, and that trim at the bottom there, just to get rid of all the chrome. Got that little repair there which I'm going to try and blend. That bit on the corner, trims on the other side again all removed, and then this bit on the corner. So what I've done is just sanded that, I think with like a 240, filled it, and then sanded above it with like a 6 or 800 I think it was, just to give the clear coat a key so I can undercoat that. Then once that's gone off, top coat it to there, and then try and blend the clear coat, and then hopefully I'll be able to polish that into the original paintwork and make it blend in and not stand out too much. So anyway, I'll put on another time lapse, get all this prepped, undercoated, and then tomorrow hopefully get the top coat and the clear coat on. So here are those trims off the car. Just thought I'd quickly show you. That was where it was all swelled up from all the steel rusting inside, so I've managed to tap it on the outside, get all of the rotten steel out of there, so I can just seal that back up again. I've given them a sand, they'll get painted. I've tested them on the car, they do sit nice and flat, so I'll use those temporarily. Hopefully some of the wider ones come up for sale again, and then I can always just paint them and put them on the car in the future. Anyway, I'm going to crack on with that paintwork. So I managed to get all those areas primered last night at home, and I'm now in the unit at work. I've got the use of the unit tonight. It is going to be absolutely lashing it down all night outside and apparently all weekend, so I don't want to leave the car because I've primered it. Primer's obviously porous. I don't want the water getting under there, rusting the metal, because then we'll have to start again. So I've got the use of the unit tonight. I've got to get the car out in the morning because the unit is in use for work. So yeah, I've prepped the car. I've got it all covered over in the areas that's going to be painted. I've got this paper folded back so I can try and blend that paint in and move the paper up when I do the clear coat, and then that will stop it from getting a very sharp line. I've seen someone else do it before online, not sure when. I watched a little video years ago, I think, of someone painting like that. Seems like a good idea. I've already been round with the isopropyl alcohol and a lint-free cloth to wipe off all the areas, so I'm going to go around with a tack cloth now, quickly get this base coat on, then I've got to fly home, help my wife get the kids to bed, have some dinner, and then I'll come back and work into the night a little bit to get the clear coat on, and yeah, hopefully I'll get it done tonight. Let's do it. So it's about a week later now since I last painted it in the unit at work, and the reason for that is because I had an absolute disaster. I painted the car. When I uncovered it in the morning, the colour was a completely different shade of blue, which was really disheartening because the finish did look pretty nice as well. So what I did that night, I was that annoyed with it, I just went home and sanded it off again, the clear coat, and ordered some more paint. So a couple of days later I painted it again, and here is the finish. Let's have a look. So it actually doesn't look that bad, but honestly, if you would have seen it before, the blue was just completely too light. Obviously we've got a bit of overspray here, which I am confident I can wet sand that all down, and once it's polished it should blend in nicely with the rest of the car. So I'm going to crack on with that now, put it on a time lapse again because I don't want to bore you going around the whole car sanding it, and yeah, give it a polish and we'll see how it turns out. Let's do it. So it's the end of the road for the Audi because it's finally finished. Obviously it was MOT'd in the last video, but we still had the paintwork to do on the back, which was an absolute nightmare, but we got there in the end. And I hope you can say as well as me that it does look pretty nice, as you saw from the previous clips. It blends in pretty well, and it's been a massive learning experience for me. Not just the paintwork, but working on the whole car and just the whole channel in general, really. From the editing, obviously the first few videos, they were pretty rubbish, filmed on my phone in portrait. I've now got a half decent camera. I'm learning how to edit on the computer, so all that's getting better. Hopefully you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out, even though it has been a little bit long since obviously I last put the video on about this. I've been down south since on holiday, and we've just had so much bad weather. Obviously trying to get out and polish this and get it all ready, painting the roof bars, all the trims. It's just a nightmare in the UK when you're working on your drive, so hope you've been patient and bared with me. But yeah, the car is finally finished, and the aim of the channel was obviously to get my first project, buy a car that needed work for cheap, and I think we've achieved that, because when I purchased this car for 300 quid, it was an absolute bag of nails, and it was definitely destined for the scrapyard. And as it's been said on YouTube before, we live in a throwaway society. Pretty much everyone can go out and purchase a car for a little bit more money than what this was, that needs very little work, if any. But that wasn't the aim of the channel, and it doesn't make good content. Obviously, if I purchased a car that didn't need work and just said, here's a car I bought, hope you like it, cheers, that's not going to make content. So I hope you've been following along and you've enjoyed watching me from the start get this car back up and running and on the road. And I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has been following, everyone that's subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, do that now. I would much appreciate that. It costs you absolutely nothing, but it means an absolute bunch to me and gives me the motivation to carry on with the channel and with the next project. Not sure what that is yet. I'm on the lookout for one. I've missed out on a BMW E39. Unfortunately that got sold, so I've got something in mind. So yeah, watch this space. I'll get another car and we'll be back with a new project. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.